Good morning, everybody. Welcome back to Political Ray. RFK Jr., old Bobby, he was confirmed yesterday and sworn in. MSNBC cut off the speeches by President Trump and by RFK Jr., but you can go watch them. I'm not going to put them up here, but just know MSNBC decided that they weren't going to go ahead and show the speeches, but whatever. I guess they're just going to it's par for the course, so it doesn't really matter anyway. He was confirmed. Linda McMahon had her hearing yesterday as well. And we got a couple things going into, we're going to get into here. But first off, the RFK here. So, RFK got in. He had 52 yays and 48 nays. And surprise, surprise, Mitch McConnell again decided he wasn't going to vote in favor of President Trump's pick. No shocker. He quoted, that he's had polio and vaccines are a wonderful thing, and he couldn't get over the fact that RFK has gone back and forth a couple times on vaccines, which I can understand, but I don't think that was actually the reason. I think that Mitch McConnell's he's voted no against Tulsi. He's voted no against Pete. He voted no. I mean, he just votes no. It doesn't matter. And during the initial the Kotar vote, Mitch voted yes, but then he voted no during the actual voting. So it doesn't surprise me. Mitch McConnell's he's just going to vote no on everything. And like I said, it doesn't surprise me. But I'm going to show you something here. And this is just a transition from what we had previously to what we have now. So, take a look at this. This is the previous HHS secretary versus the new one. Look, Rachel Levine, who got put in as an admiral of it's not now let's just be completely clear about this. This person who is mentally ill, overweight, not in shape, was put in charge of the health of America. It's a guy who thinks he's a woman who's overweight on top of that, and this person was put in charge of the health of America. Look, regardless of what you think about Bobby or the previous person that was put in charge of this, I think it's an upgrade. I mean, just take a look at the pictures in comparison. I mean, I'd rather have that person in charge of health versus the previous person. And that's just my opinion on it. I don't think that somebody who's mentally ill and thinks they're, the wrong, the other sex that they shouldn't be in that position. But anyway, talking about Mitch McConnell here. Like I said, this guy, he's just going to vote no on everything. He's going to vote no on cash as well. I can guarantee it. He's going to vote no on Linda. He's going to vote no on everything that President Trump wants to do. It's just what he's going to do. Anyway, taking a look at this, Mitch McConnell, he cites his polio and the vaccines as why he voted no. Anyway, in a party line vote, 0 Democrats and 52 Republicans in the Senate voted Thursday to confirm RFK Jr. as the new head of the Department of Health and Human Services. Senator Mitch McConnell of Kentucky was the sole Republican to oppose President Trump's nominee. Same as he was before, the last few votes that there was, like I said, Pete Hegseth, Tulsi Gabbard, he's going to vote no. It's just what he's doing. And look, this guy, I said it in my video yesterday, this guy's not going to be in office. He's up for re-election during the midterms. The guy's not going to be in office much longer. Whether he retires or he gets voted out, because one of the two is going to happen. The guy he's spacing out. And I don't know if he's having strokes or what's going on with the guy, but he's 82 years old. He's having health issues. He's not going to be in office after the midterms, regardless of whether he retires or he gets voted out. It's just, like I said, I'm pretty sure he hasn't said. There was that video that went around that everybody saw, that when he was asked specifically if he was going to run for re-election during the midterms in next year, That's when he froze up, didn't say nothing. His little aide came over and said, "Did you hear the question?" Yada, yada, yada. And they said, "Give us a minute," and blah, blah, blah. And then he just kind of stood there, blank faced. And, like I said, I don't know if he had a stroke or what was going on, but it's obvious that the guy is not all there and he needs to retire. Plain and simple. Let the guy retire and go live out the rest of his days. Because it's sad when you see stuff like this. It is. And I don't want to see anybody go through something like that. The guy needs to just, he's being wheeled around in a wheelchair now, going to the votes and everything else. The guy's not in the best health and he needs to retire and go enjoy the rest of his days. That's it. I mean, I feel bad for the guy. Like I said in my video yesterday, he probably doesn't even know what he's voting on, what he's voting for, etc. And that's, like I said, it's sad. Look, 82-year-old McConnell, who served in the Senate since 1985. It's the longest serving party leader in that body. He recovered from polio when he was 4. He still walks with a limp and suffers health problems related to the illness. The guy's 82 years old. Like I said, he needs to just go ahead and call it a day. That being said, we got Linda McMahon. She had her confirmation hearing. President Trump was asked about it in the Oval Office, and we'll take a look at what he said about it. I completely 100% agree with him. Here, take a look.
And on the education department, why nominate Linda McMahon to be the education department secretary if you're going to get rid of the education department?
Because I told Linda, I hope you do a great job and put yourself out of a job. I want her to put herself out of a job. Education department. So we're ranked number 40 out of 40 schools, right? We're ranked number 1 in cost per pupil. So we spend more per pupil than any other country in the world. And we're ranked at the bottom of the list. We're ranked very badly. And what I want to do is let the states run schools. I believe strongly in school choice.
School choice, yes.
In addition to that, I want the states to run schools. And I want Linda to put herself out of a job.
So do you think that's something you can do with an executive order, or are you going to ask Congress to do it?
I'd like to be able to look. If I
He has to go through
use the schools
Congress for
back
that.
to
He can't do it
Iowa
with an
and
executive
Idaho
order.
and Indiana and all these places that run properly. There's many of them. I think.
And on the education.
All right, so now I'm pretty sure I showed this video before, because it wasn't yesterday or anything. That this was a couple weeks or so ago that he was asked this in the Oval Office, and this was what he said about it. And like I said, I'm pretty sure I showed this before, but I agree with this. It's a good statement. I'm pretty sure that he can't do it with an executive order. I think to get rid of DOE, he has to actually go through Congress in order for that to happen. I could be wrong. I don't think I am, though. I could be, though. I don't know for sure. But I mean, a prime example of the wasteful spending that this institution. Look, they've been around. They were implemented in 1979. It went into effect in 1980. Since then, spending has gone up and up and up and up and up and up, and test scores are going down, 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 down. It's a failed experiment. I've said it 100 times. It's a failed experiment, and it needs to go away. There's no reason to keep it around. Send it back to the states. Let parents have school choice, because that's an incentive for schools to do better. If you have school choice, I've said this a million times before too. If parents have school choice, it incentivizes the schools to be better, because they're going to want that funding from the state. So those schools are going to do better in their education, and they're going to actually, try and prop up, educate better, because they want that funding from the state. School choice is a good thing. It's good for the parents. It's good for the students. It's good for the schools. Incentivization. I think school choice is a look. Even if it doesn't work out, the Department of Education obviously hasn't worked. And a prime example is in Illinois, Chicago specifically, where they spend almost $30,000 per year per pupil per student, and they have the lowest testing scores in the nation. Almost 30,000. It's like 29,000 and some change per student every year, and they have the lowest test scores in the nation. It's a prime example of we're just throwing money at the problem, and it's not doing any good. Like I said, since 1980, it's a failed experiment and it needs to go away. That's all there is to it. They can beat this dead horse all they want, but when you look at the the money spent versus the outcome, it's obvious that it's not working and something has to change. Send it back to the states. Let them do school choice. Whatever. I mean, obviously, like I said, DOE is a failed experiment. Try something else. What's it going to hurt? The Department of Education obviously isn't working. So why not try something else? It's pretty simple to me. Now, like I said, I don't know. Now, as far as Linda McMahon for the the Secretary of the Department of Education, I don't know. I know she was in charge of the WWE, and I don't know about the pick. I'll be honest with you. It's one of his picks that I was like, I don't know. I mean, I didn't like his pick for the Department of Education in his first term. I'll be honest. I didn't like her either. I can't even remember her name, but I wasn't impressed with that pick either. This one, I don't know. I don't know a whole lot about Linda McMahon. I'm not a wrestling fan, so I couldn't tell you a whole lot about her. But when the stuff that I caught from her hearing yesterday, I thought she did pretty good as far as her responses. And I believe that she wants to, continue and go through with President Trump's agenda of, he wants to cut the spending back, try and get it back to the states and allow for school choice, which I am completely 100% in agreement with. So she is back in that. So I guess, I mean, like I said, her answers were spot on for me. But like I said, I don't know. I don't know her from Adam, so I'm not sure. I guess, her getting confirmed, we'll find out. Hopefully she can follow through. And everybody knows, I'd like to see the Department of Education go away. So anyway, we'll take a look at a couple of her responses here. Like I said, I thought she did pretty good as far as her responses go, but we'll take a look.
The bottom line is because it's not working. Department of Education was set up.
This was a question, I believe it was from Senator Howell, asking about, the Department of Education, what she expects to do with it.
In 1980, and since that time we have spent almost $1 trillion.
It's actually $2 trillion, and I'll get into that in a little bit.
And we have watched our performance scores continue to go down.
Yes.
I do believe that it is a responsibility to make sure that our children do have equal access to excellent education. I think that is best handled at the state level, closest to the states, working with state administrators, teachers, parents, who should have input into their curriculum.
Yes.
The bottom line is...
I agree. I agree with that statement. 100%. Should go back to the states. Allow school choice, allow the parents to have a say in their children's education. If you got a problem with that, then there's a problem with you. I don't understand what the problem is with that. Again, the Department of Education is a failed experiment, needs to go away. Anyway, okay, this one. So this one, she was asked about Title IX. And boys being in women's locker rooms and being able to participate in women's sports, biological men who think they're women, who have a mental illness. I'm going to say, look, I'm not on board with the whole transgender crap, and women or boys who think they're women and then compete in women's sports is dangerous. It's also dangerous to let them into women's, spaces, locker rooms and such. It's not a good move. It shouldn't happen. Title IX was enacted specifically to protect women in sports and in their spaces. I don't think that we should ignore it and just let these people who think they're women into these spaces. It's not a good thing. It's dangerous, as you can see from the sports. I mean, the volleyball player that got brain damage over this crap. But anyway, Senator Marshall asked her about this, and we'll take a look at this.
Ms. McMahon, should biological boys, be allowed to compete against girls in sports?
I do not believe that biological boys should be able to compete against girls in sports. And I think now that they certainly not only have the people spoken, because that was something that President Trump ran very hard on, but also the court has spoken.
Ms. McMahon, should boys biological...
Done. Easy question. I mean, yes. This is one of the things that President Trump ran on. It shouldn't be taking place. He's already put in an executive order banning this, and it shouldn't happen. There's no reason for it. It's to protect women, and you can say what you want, but that's its sole purpose. Anyway, so the wasteful spending that I told you we're going to get into here real quick. This is, I mean, look, the Department of Education was established by Jimmy Carter in 79. It began operation in 80. Since that time, it was spent over $2 trillion to improve the education of American school children and college kids. Why it's going to the colleges, I don't know, because they're supposed to be funded by, that's why kids take out loans to go to college. That was my take on it anyway. Why is the Department of Education giving money to colleges? Anyway, according to the National Assessment of Education process, the average reading scores have improved from 215 in 1980 to 215. Wait, what? Scores have improved from 215 in 80 to 215 in 22. A whopping 0% improvement. All that money, $2 trillion, and it doesn't improve at all since 80 to 15? What sense does that make? Math scores have improved from 219 to 234, a 6.8 improvement. Money well spent, I guess. In the past 45 years since its inception, the DOE has spent grants in local agencies, special education, others, Pell Grants. Look, there's some of these that I'm like, okay, why? Howard University? Well, Rehabilitation Service, Disability Research. Administration, $42 billion to administration. $51 billion improving teacher quality, state grants. $395 billion to grants to local agencies. Look, this shouldn't. Send it back to the states. Obviously, like I said, this is it's a failed experiment. It needs to go away. Anyway, that's what I got for today. Hey, appreciate you hanging out through my rants. If you like what you saw, you can subscribe to me on YouTube. You can follow me on Rumble, and you can also follow me on X at The Political Ray. Appreciate you hanging out. Y'all have a great day, and God bless.